Hey guys, Dion Taylor here. Have you ever had the need to schedule leads or maybe even a custom table that you created? In this particular video, I'm going to cover exactly that. This could be relevant for organizations that might need to set up house calls for leads, right? Think about something that I actually encountered myself a couple of years ago when somebody came to my house to perform measurements for my hurricane windows. If you're interested, take a look at this video. So first I'm going to show you what this configuration can actually accomplish. I'm going to create a new lead and then I want to schedule that lead. So I'm going to say this is for a bathroom or a kitchen remodel or whatever that could be. Let's do a kitchen. I can use a new one. Kitchen remodel, and this is for Tucker Taylor. And I'm going to put in some address information. Here is the street, and this is actually in Brooklyn, New York. And let's put in that zip code. And I'm going to go ahead and save that. Oh, I need to put in a household name, of course. This is Taylor. And let me just go ahead and save that. So what's going to happen right now is a flow is going to be kicked off, which will then populate my latitude and my longitude field. So I'm just going to give it a couple of seconds here, and then I'm going to refresh that lead so we can see that those fields have been populated. So let's hit refresh. And here we go. You can see the latitude field and the longitude field have now both data in them. And then from here, what I can do is I can just go ahead and click on the book button. And now I can go ahead and pick a date. So let's say we want to book this between 8:30 and 9:30 a.m. We have 82 resources available then. Let me see if I can book this to myself. Here we go. I'm going to click on book. And this has now been successfully booked on 1/18. So let's exit this. Take a look at the schedule board. Let me refresh that. Oh, and here it is. And you can also see that I have the first name and the last name of that lead, right? I have the topic, start and end times, and that city and that state field as well on the schedule board. All right, so let's take a look at how we can configure that. So I'm going to set this up in a different environment. So let me just go ahead and pull that up. So the first thing that you want to do is you want to go to the resource scheduling app. That's where you're going to be able to do this setup. And then you want to go to the settings area. And then here you see administration. And then you want to click on Enable Resource Scheduling for Entities. So what you're going to do is you're going to pick your entity over here. You can see that lead is already set up in this particular one, but you would normally pick leads in here. This guy is already set up, so I can't pick leads, but this is your entity. And then you'll see that these relationships do not exist. So these are really the booking relationship stands for the bookable resource booking table, and the requirement stands for the resource requirement table. What is actually going to happen is when you click publish customization, there's going to be two relationships that are going to be created between whatever entity you have in this field and those two entities that I just mentioned, right? Again, I already have lead done, but what would happen is once you click here, publish customization, that will create that one-to-many relationship between this entity and the bookable resource booking, and another relationship one-to-many between this entity and that resource requirements. Now, once you click publish customization, that entity will show here under the enabled entities. And what you want to do then is double click on that entity, and you want to populate some of these fields. Now, you can set your default booking duration, right? All of your statuses, right? What is my default requirement? Active status, obviously this is from this status list that's going to be active, etc. So you want to make sure that you fill all of this out. The disable requirement auto creation for bookings. What that means is that when a lead is booked, the system will also create a requirement and link that requirement to the booking and the lead. So if you don't want that to happen, if you just want the system to create a booking when you book that lead, you're going to disable that. If you're fine with that, then you're just going to set this to no. And then obviously, right, you're canceled, your completed statuses. And then if you want to enable this entity for QuickBook, you need to make sure that this is set to yes, because by default it is set to no. And then if you scroll down a little bit, there are some fields that you can map. So you want to make sure that you map that latitude field from the lead right over here as well. And then that longitude field, obviously, as well. You could also obviously add duration fields, date fields, right, from date and to date fields on that lead record, and then you can map those over here as well. Now, you saw earlier on the schedule board that it showed me some information from that lead record, right? I have here first name, last name, or full name, right? Then we have the city, state, and then the topic, as you can see on here as well. So if you want to add that as well, what you can do here is click on schedule board settings. And then you want to navigate here where it says booking templates. And this is the data, the HTML code that you want to copy in there. I'm actually going to put this code on my article that's related to this, so you can just take a look at it there. And I will drop a link into the description field here as well. So once that's done, oops, you got to obviously click apply, right? I just X'd out of that, but you got to make sure that you hit apply. Let's just give it a second here. You got to hit apply. And once you do that, once that's done, you can close, right, that screen. That's really everything that we have to do from that perspective of enabling that entity for scheduling. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to flow.microsoft.com and I'm going to create that Power Automate flow that will actually update that lead with those longitude and latitude fields once that address has been added, right? So I'm going to click on create. This is going to be an automated cloud flow. I'm going to click skip over here and I'm going to search for my trigger, which is when a record is created, updated, or deleted. And then obviously I only want this to trigger when it's created or updated. My entity name is obviously, we want to run this on leads. And then you can set the scope here as well. I'm going to set this to organization, but you can pick whatever works best for you. Now, I only want this to run on that address one, line one field, right? If that's not changed, then I really don't need this flow to run. And then obviously I can also pick, how do you want to run this? I'm going to do this as a triggering user. Now, my next step, I'm going to use Bing Maps, and here you can see that, where I'm going to get a location by address. And you see that once you actually click that, you're going to get this particular window, which is going to ask you for connection name and then for that API key as well. Microsoft actually has an article on how to get your Bing Maps key, so you can kind of take a look at that. I just Googled it, and that's kind of how I got to that, so you can go ahead and do that. So I'm going to call this connection Bing Maps. I'm going to put my API key in here. And once you've done that, you can see that now you can start entering some of that data from Dynamics 365 or Dataverse or Common Data Service, whatever that's called nowadays, right, when you're watching this video. So the data that I'm feeding in from that lead record, right, is going to be for the address line. Obviously, this is going to be street 1, the city, then the state. Here we go. And then the zip code, obviously. And then the country and region. Now, I don't have that field on there, so I'm just going to hard code that. And then I'm going to do a new step because now we want to write that data back. We want to update that lead record. So you click update a record. Again, I'm going to say this is for leads. And then I need to get that unique identifier, right? So I'm going to, type in unique, and I want the unique identifier for the lead. And then if you scroll down and click on advanced options, you're going to see your latitude and longitude fields right over here. So you're going to put that point coordinates latitude over here, and then your longitude fields, over there. And obviously you want to make sure that you enter a name that makes sense, right, for that flow as well. I'm going to go ahead and save that. And now let's test that. So you can obviously click test and then start running that. What I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to go into Dynamics 365 Field Service. And I'm going to create a new lead. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's say new kitchen, Harry Smith Street. We're going to do the same street here in Brooklyn, New York, with the zip code. There we go. And I'm going to go ahead and save that. And again, I'm going to give it a couple of seconds here to run that flow and populate that data. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and click refresh here. And there we go. Our latitude and longitude fields are there. So now I'm going to go ahead and click book. And there is our QuickBook window. And I'm going to book that again on Monday. Let's pick 8:30. And do I have somebody that makes sense? Let's do Edgar. I'm going to click on book. And there we go. So now lastly, let's take a look at the schedule board. We want to go to our New York view. And we want to go to Monday. And there we go. Harry Smith in Brooklyn, New York. New kitchen. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, don't forget to hit that like button. Make sure you click the subscribe button so you'll never miss another video. Thanks so much for watching, and stay safe, everybody.